This evening's presentation of Chicago Tonight is made possible in part by a grant from the Polk Brothers Foundation, a foundation for Chicago families.
Good evening and welcome to this abbreviated edition of Chicago Tonight. I'm Christian Farr. Phil Ponce has the night off. This evening's half-hour show is followed by a Candidate Free Time, a program which gives candidates for selected offices 2 minutes of free airtime to address voters. On Chicago Tonight this Tuesday, October 31st, Elizabeth Brackett talks to top election officials about whether the latest voting technology will be up to the job next Tuesday. A new study shows striking health disparities in Chicago. We'll talk to two people trying to find out why breast cancer kills more blacks than whites in the Windy City.
I have gotten enormous amount of companies overseas that buy Avengers, enormous. And I wouldn't have been able to do half of them if it wasn't for Miyako.
Small Midwestern companies get a boost from a local organization that is helping connect them to the world. We'll introduce you to the organization in our Worldwide Chicago segment. But first, updating what's happening in Chicago tonight. With 1 week until Election Day, 3 new polls give Rod Blagojevich, the governor, a substantial lead over Judy Bar-Topinka in the race for governor. The Republican challenger said today she's not giving up, and the incumbent said he's taking nothing for granted.
Till we get them. Okay. I think that if we do what we're doing, we'll be able to give a lot of guidance to when people should be screened, how we should put the resources of screening to work, and what we can do.
Well, we've run out of time. Dick, Sylvia, thank you. And to learn more about the UIC Center for Population Health and Health Disparities, go to our website. We're at WTTW.com and click on Chicago Tonight. For years, large U.S. food corporations have sold their products on the international market because they have the resources and the money to do it. Smaller U.S. food companies have a tough enough time selling their products stateside, and selling overseas is usually something those owners never consider. In our Worldwide Chicago segment tonight, a local organization that's helping small Midwestern companies go global. Holly Shear says her dog food is so good and so fresh.
It's human-grade chicken. That's good.
She would eat it herself. Shear is the owner of Avengers, a 70-plus-year-old dog and cat food company located in its original birthplace of Wheeling, Illinois. Shear bought the company 4 years ago and started taking it in a new direction. Instead of churning out the typical ground-up pet food, Shear wanted her food to be unique.
We put a lot of meat into our product. We actually put meat. We do 100% meats. We use fresh ingredients. We're from Chicago. We go to South Water Market, and we put the fresh ingredients into our products with the meat. And we don't add any preservatives or salt or anything that you don't want. It's just really good home cooking. It looks like people food. It smells like people food. It tastes like people food.
But Shear admits her first year running the business was tough and not as profitable as she hoped it would be. That's when she decided to give a local Chicago organization a call. And that call would introduce her pet food to the world.
We are growing. We've grown 3 times in the last 3 years. I have gotten enormous amount of companies overseas that buy Avengers, enormous. And I wouldn't have been able to do half of them if it wasn't for Miyako.
We're here to help build the food and agricultural economy in this part of the country by bringing money in from our overseas customers.
Tim Hamilton is the executive director of the Food Export Association of the Midwest USA. For most of its 37-year history, the not-for-profit organization went by the name of Mid-America International Agri-Trade Council, or MIATCO for short, until it changed its name just a couple of months ago. Hamilton says the association's mission is to give small to medium-sized companies the tools they need to sell their products overseas. What kind of challenges do businesses have trying to bring their products overseas?
There are several challenges. First of all is even considering whether to sell products overseas. Each country has its own set of regulations. They have to change the label into the language of that country. They may have restrictions on products or ingredients that can be imported into their country. There may be currency fluctuations that either favor or disfavor exporting U.S. products into that market.
Hamilton says they use a three-pronged approach when helping the nearly 700 Midwest companies the association works with annually. First, he says they educate companies on how exporting works. Secondly, they help those businesses get their first customer overseas. And then they show them how to promote their product overseas by giving business owners advice and some money to do it. Shear says she was surprised when the association paid for almost 50% of her advertisements.
It really, really helped my business. I used to do these little dinky ads in these pet food magazines, and now I'm doing full-page ads. I'm getting a lot of business from the ads.
The association also sponsors trade shows here in the U.S. as well as overseas, creating a bridge that connects Midwestern companies with possible future foreign clients. Hamilton says the overseas agricultural market is booming and has more than doubled in the past 20 years.
The overseas markets are growing probably 3 to 4 times faster than the food market is in the United States. We're a very mature market here in the U.S.
And so this is the original sauce. So this is the one that sort of is the mixture of the two recipes?
Yeah, that's where it all started. And we actually
Max Good and his wife Suzanne Mui Good are the owners of the Black Swan Barbecue Sauce Company. 2 years ago, husband and wife decided to start selling their homemade barbecue sauce, a mixture of Max's recipe and Suzanne's Asian-inspired family recipe. Within a year of starting up, they were able to sell their sauce in several small stores, but got a big boost when they caught the eye of a Whole Foods grocery store representative.
He was nice enough to go to bat for us. The next thing I know, we were in all the Whole Foods stores in the Midwest. So that was a huge leap, and it also gave us a lot more credibility, I think.
While the Goods were researching a way to bring Black Swan to other parts of the country, they came across the Food Export Association at a local food trade show. They would soon discover that there was an international demand for barbecue sauce.
And within 2 months, we got our first order from Brazil. Now, the folks with the Food Export Group told me that's really unusual. It usually takes about a year before that happens.
The Goods say their family of sauces is now sold in Canada and Costa Rica. Not only has their international business increased their sales by 15%, it has also helped them build their U.S. client base.
The fact that people in other countries are interested in our sauces makes folks even here in the United States more interested. I feel like, well, geez, if you're exporting this to Brazil and Costa Rica and Canada, maybe I should take a look at it too.
Would you have done this if the association didn't exist?
No, I don't think without their assistance, I don't think we would have even attempted. We were just trying to export to California.
According to the Food Export Association, it saw an increase of nearly $100 million in export sales from Midwest companies in 2005, with a projected increase of almost $150 million in the future. Even though the association has given thousands of companies a foothold globally, Hamilton admits not every Midwestern food company can make it overseas.
Exporting isn't going to be a solution for a company that's just getting started or is still trying to maximize their distribution in the U.S. There are challenges, there are costs. Sometimes it takes longer for an export sale to become profitable than it does for a domestic U.S. sale. So it's important for a company to look at whether this fits their strategy.
Since it is a not-for-profit company, the Food Export Association receives funding from several sources, including the federal government and various state governments, including Illinois. Business owners also pay for a portion of the services the association offers. If you want to learn more about the Food Export Association of the Midwest USA, you can visit our website, WTTW.com. Under Programs, click on Chicago Tonight.
Worldwide Chicago segments on Chicago Tonight are made possible in part by a grant from the Boeing Company.
And that's our show for this Tuesday night. I hope you'll join us tomorrow night live right here at 7 when we'll check out a hospital for injured birds on Northerly Island. And we'll talk to a husband and wife photography team who are opening an exhibit here exploring the different ways the world eats. Now stay tuned for Candidate Free Time. For all of us here at Channel 11, I'm Christian Farr. Thanks for watching and have a great evening.
Closed captioning for this program is made possible by the generous support of Robert A. Clifford and Clifford Law Offices, a personal injury firm.
You can watch this program again anytime you want on Comcast On Demand.